what it
What
was.
if he pays what he owes to the Finland? Because he could basically pay it off and not be wanted no more.
Dude,
That's a
they
good point.
they want like half, bro. Let's
How
be
much does
real.
he? How much does he
Yeah,
owe them, bro? That's what I
They
was about
probably
to
but
want
ask.
that's the
half.
thing. We're all assuming that it's for the sacrifice,
Right,
right?
right.
But he had companies before, and those companies were doing business, whatever. Hex, all of that stuff. Hex Fortress was one of the companies. It could be for that, and then we don't know how much that is. So we're all assuming that it's the sack funds, but I personally don't think it is. I'll be real. I think it's that he was doing before with Hex.
I think it's a mix of a lot of things.
So you mean less
It could
money?
just be it could just be his crypto gains that he probably pulled out to some type of account. And when he went and bought all the luxury stuff, like he probably didn't pay taxes on the money that he pulled out.
Well, if it was something to the lesser degree of what we're thinking, then you think that there would be some public notice of that to make things a little more bullish and less worrisome with that,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, why hasn't he acknowledged it is my thing.
Right.
Well, here's the thing, right? Like he should acknowledge it and he should pay it because if he doesn't, he will go to prison.
Mm.
That's a fact. But at the same time, Roger Ver, who is wanted for a very similar thing, aggravated tax evasion or whatever,
Right.
he claims that he paid his taxes and they're still trying to put him in prison.
Mm. Yeah.
So, like, if that's true, as an individual that is being shaken down for taxes, knowing that the next guy who is in a similar situation with crypto paid his taxes and they're still trying to put him in jail, what do you do?
Richard set this up as sacrifice for freedom of speech, which is a cause, which is a charity, organization, and he had all that set up too. I mean, this implication, like you're saying, like he will go to jail if he doesn't pay for it. Well, he might have it set up to where he doesn't have to, and this is actually a charitable cause, which is,
Well, yeah,
is
but
exempt. I
again,
don't know if in Finland it's exempt, but I know for an American,
well, that
situation.
again, that's assuming that it's for the tax, it's for the tax funds.
Right,
But what if it's for previous businesses with
right.
Hex? Like, bro, like, how much money do you think he took out of Hex, bro?
Yeah, I don't know.
Come on, like I'll guarantee he took hundreds of millions of dollars out of Hex, E-Hex,
You think
right?
so? Hundreds of
Oh,
millions. There was there
100%,
was there
bro.
was only like at the top. There was only like 75 million total liquidity at the top.
Yeah, but bro, all the way up,
Yeah.
brother.
I think what he did was just take the ETH, put up V3 ranges with Hex, pumped of it, pull the range,
Right.
pump the shit out of
Right.
it,
So
pull the
he
range.
injected
And then
and
when people
also
nuked,
took
when
out.
people nuked out of it 70%, he just went and injected the money back with a V3, pulled half. You know what I mean? He took a net W on Hex for sure.
Yep,
You
100%.
know, guys, I don't think this is very likely, but if he's got any entities that are still compliant with U.S. tax code, all corporate tax is due the middle of the month in October.
Hey,
Oh, that's a good point.
Interesting.
That's a good
that is
point.
a good point. Yeah.
Man's tornadoing to pay his taxes. We're all getting excited.
I mean, if he's still got any ties to the U.S., he might have tax liabilities in the U.S.
Audio Ecstasy
Well,
This would
Incorporated.
be for last year though. Last year, what liabilities would he have last year?
Right,
Yeah,
it would be
man.
2024.
Mm-hmm.
He's got online businesses he makes money off of. We probably have no idea. But is his sex shop still running, bro? Have you bought a Richie dildo and you didn't know it?
so correct me if I'm wrong.
Yo.
If he's still a U.S. citizen, he hasn't denounced his citizenship, right? He's still liable for tax no matter where he makes money in the world. Correct?
That's correct. As long as he's trying to be compliant and not get chased down for the rest of his life, yeah.
GG's. Richie's paying his taxes, guys. 25 mil. Let's go.
Nah,
That's cool.
it was just
We
That's
hold
still
on.
cool,
No,
bro.
Wait,
we're
no, hold
paying.
on.
That's
We're
cool.
paying his
We're
taxes.
paying his taxes. First of all, we're paying the taxes.
We sacrifice for freedom to pay Richard's taxes.
We sacrificed for Richard's freedom, bro.
Let's go.
We will go down in history.
he's not paying taxes. He's just funding a good birthday party. Yellow.
Nah, man.
That's
Listen,
that's
there's
a good
two.
birthday party, bro.
Yeah, that is a crazy birthday party.
Man's doing a Diddy birthday party, bro.
That's bigger than
I
a Diddy birthday party, bro.
I actually would prefer that he blew it on strippers and blow before he gave it to the U.S. government. That's just my personal
He don't
opinion.
own it to the U.S. government though.
Bro, if he did
He owns
that
it
for the
to the
highest of
Finnish
stakes
government.
too,
Well, what we're talking about, the sacrifice was, I mean, the charitable organization would have been set up in the U.S. if he did this, the freedom of speech sacrifice, 501 3C, whatever C3.
No, no, it's not. But even if you make money outside of the US, as a US citizen, you're still liable to pay those
Well,
taxes in the US.
right.
That's
You're talking
correct.
about
That's
you're talking
correct.
about his personal situation. I'm talking about the sacrifice funds of how he might have set up
Oh, yeah.
that charitable organization for receiving those. Yeah, that's just not clear to me. But I know it was very clear that he was setting up the sacrifice for a cause,
Yes.
which is eligible for 501
Yeah,
c3 charitable organization, which was exempt from taxes.
correct.
Yeah. So
We were talking about this yesterday. Like the way he's set up Pulsechain is basically like a private trust,
yep.
which the government is like basically can't touch. Especially, and that's why he beat the SEC in court because they had no jurisdiction.
Right.
Just like businesses during COVID that were set up under a private trust were open and doing business, and the government couldn't shut them down. So we know that the chain has been set up that way. So I'm sure that the money raised, like you said, has been set up in such a way where he doesn't have to pay tax on it.
Yeah.
They'll still come after him, but like he will just have to fight them, right? And be
Right.
like, no, look.
Which is the most perplexing thing to me. Like, if he did all that, why let this, this negative connotation go around with, he owes tax, he's going to get a red notice and all that stuff. Like, certainly you would put out some PR that, hey, it's all good. This is set up. They're going to come after and try to get money because that's just what they do. But we're good or something. But it's
Yeah.
confusing to me why there's no counter argument there.
Yep. Or like, yeah, because there's a lot of people that aren't us, right? There's a lot of people that aren't like tuned in on everything. There's a lot of people that aren't complaining. A lot of people that just have been sitting on their bags, and then when they check in on Twitter or they check in on stuff, they're like, "Well, what's going on with Postchain? Why is it still like this?" I look at it like some of my clients where they're like 100%. When they talk to people about crypto, they don't talk about us. They're like Richard Hart's a god, and they say all these things and tell like these wealthy people in their real life, and they're kind of looking like clowns. And Richard's making them look like clowns because you're not giving them something to back their statements of, hey, this thing's a better investment than ETH, or this thing's a better investment than Umpty because of the founder, right? It's always because of the founder. Like, it's not because of anything else, because the founder's not appearing for them to be bullish.
Altcoin Daily is probably in the top 5 largest KOLs in crypto, right? He's been around since day dot. He put Richard Hart beat the SEC. ... Why is Hex like this?
Facts, man, facts. And the thing is, the other thing I don't get about Richie, okay, everyone talks about the streaming, but just before all the SEC was coming out, he was jumping on those big Twitter spaces as well. Like, could you imagine him jumping in on that Twitter space that CZ was on?
Bro.
Like that would be so
Yeah.
much so bullish.
And I don't see why he wouldn't want to do that. It's like, bro, you're the main advocate. You win the most if Pulsechain is successful. Right? You get the most glory. You get all the capital. You get all the volume. You get all the leverage. So why wouldn't you go
Yeah, I'll tell
and
you what.
like? I just don't.
He used to jump on those spaces and shit on everyone and tell everyone how the Hex price is up 10,000x, blah, blah, blah. He's going to jump back on those spaces with those same people and they're going to be like, how's Hex doing, bro?
Yeah. He didn't want to take the
And he's
arrows.
got nothing to rebuttal them with.
Right.
The
He didn't
time's
want
not
to take
right.
the arrows.
Well, no. All he has to say is, ETH did a 98% dip. Bitcoin has done 99% dips 8 times. Like, that's all he does anyways. So he would just come up with some bullshit excuse to say, buy the dip. It's never been a better opportunity to buy than right now. What was the best time to buy? When Satoshi had all the coins, blah, 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 blah. When it was the hardest to buy, the lowest liquidity. That's what he's going to say, bro. That's
Well,
fine.
in the meantime, he's got 24 people who are solidifying their positions for him. He's creating an entire army here online while he's absent.
Not really, bro. He's actually killing his army, bro.
Yeah,
Like,
the army's getting weaker, bro.
like
I would say.
really I'm noticing it because I'm around these guys and they're all like losing, and yes, you could say in a week if Richie comes in with 50 million and pumps the chain, yeah, people's sentiment can change, but they're gonna remember what he did and how gay he's been the whole time, essentially. Even though we love him, it's just like, bro, people are gonna exit
Yeah.
off the first
But
pump because of how he's been.
He's testing the
yeah,
waters.
that sentiment will change though. Like I know I get what you're saying because bro, I'm in some of those groups with like big hex holders, p hex holders, right? And they're all bearish and they're all negative and whatnot. But when green candles come and things start getting bullish again, a lot of people will switch back to being bullish and actually hold. So There will be people exiting. Don't get me wrong. On the first pump that comes, there's going to be a lot of people exiting. But I think a lot of people that are really bearish, that do have a lot of money in Hex, are probably going to switch up and be bullish again. Because that's what happens, man. It's like you start getting that hopium back, and then it's hard to sell. It's hard to press that sell button.
And look at this from a business person's perspective. He's using his audience in a cyclical manner, the same way he's using his capital, right? He's playing the audience in the same cyclical fashion, the way he would use his capital in a cyclical fashion.
I look at it like he doesn't need to play with capital in order to, like, he's socially shaking people out, right? That's cool. But there's a lot of people that you're just pissing off with big bags that are not going to sell because they know what the game plan is. They do believe in them, but it's just like, why are you going about it in the most beta fashion possible? Because like, there's so many things that we could be doing as a chain, but we can't because of Richard, essentially. Like my biggest thing is the Pulsechain Twitter account has 100,000 followers, no check mark, and it's absent, and it's been absent since SAC. When you go look at that as an outsider or somebody that's checking in on Pulsechain, it looks like a rug, man. It looks like this project died, nothing came of the account afterwards. The shit's been around for 2 years and it's down to the right. Like, that's so hard to onboard people to, man. They're like, oh, what's the account? Binance accounts, bull posts and trolls all day. I would do that all day, bro.
Who do we know who runs that account?
Richard, man.
Are you sure?
Bro, it's Richie, bro. They only follow Richie. It was all the posts. Like, if you go read their posts, it's exactly how Richie posts.
Which account does this say?
Pulsechain Com. It's exactly. You don't even know it. That's crazy. Why the fuck Twitter, the top Twitter, like,
Hey, did you guys find it weird that I don't know who that Richard was? I ain't seen it, but I just like see the Binance space that just come up. It was like BNB space with Richard or something.
Well, Richard Teng is the CEO of Binance.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
It's like the
It's like,
Asianest name ever.
They posted a potato with a candle in it today and said it's somebody's birthday today.
And well, they're
Every
Yo,
trolling
comment
Richard, aren't
underneath
they?
it's like "Happy birthday, Richard."
So they're trolling
I
Richard,
forgot
isn't
about
it?
that. Let me go see that.
I mean, they could be trolling Richard because Richard used to troll CZ a lot as well back in the day.
Yeah, yeah. And you can see the community. They always see the community in the comments sections. They always see the community always writing. So yeah, makes sense. But it's just a bit too much now.
Hey, was it Binance's account?
Yeah,
Binance intern.
Really?
Binance intern.
Almighty,
But
what do you think? What do you think the highest probability scenario is? What do you think is actually going to happen in the next 6 months? Like, if you could draw it up yourself, what do you think is going to happen?
With what?
I think we get a baby injection for like Thanksgiving, Christmas time, right? Just so that we can tell our families, like, yeah, Richie injected 10 million a week ago. You know, it'll probably get G'd down. It'll probably go down until February. I think we pump in February, March, April, May, June. And then I think July, August, September, we go down, and then we get a rally, a final rally, October, November, possibly December. And that's me because I know Pulse Chain is manipulatable and it has nothing to do with the regular market.
He
okay,
Bitcoin
wants
so
and
the
ETH will
FOMO, bro.
top out and alts will run. That is how it happens, bro. You
okay.
can watch everything top out and it means nothing. Nothing for Pulse Chain, bro. Richie will just inject and float it past all the other bulls, bro.
Never
Nah, he's
know
gonna
the
wait for the
great.
right time when there's actually money, when people
Bitcoin
are
topped out and
chasing
Hex
artists.
running, bro. So I don't know why you guys think it'd be any different.
He's gonna, bro. It's not. Nothing's going past March. March is the latest. That's it.
What if we don't pump at all until March? Like, what if we haven't pumped until March? Guess what your
Well,
thought
I'm
process
giving
is
it till
gonna be?
December. If not, bro, I'm bridging out. I'm going to BNB.
I think that you can't tell me what Pulse Chain is going to do or when it's going to do ever because of how manipulatable it is. So
True.
the fact that we're talking about when Bitcoin and ETH top out, it's like, who gives it? We're not even in those assets mainly, right? We're all Pulse Chain maxis, retards. And we're gonna sit here until Richie comes in and starts doing something in action waving. And then we get loud, and then we can try to get on board all the people that made money the whole cycle.
On board our exit liquidity.
Exactly,
Yep.
bro. After they already made money and exited the thing, like everyone's like, "Oh, BNB season's over." Like people made money on BNB, right? And then they'll come back to Solana. I'm poor. Like that's gonna happen, bro. You're gonna have base season, right? You're gonna have a Sui season. You'll have all these
We have in
other
every season.
probably like couple of days. Yeah, and then we're
Everything's
gonna
gonna
have
have
a
its own.
rally. We're gonna have a rally. We're gonna try to make it a season on our chain. We'll probably have some meme coins go retarded, but then we'll probably get rinsed out one more time, right? And then we can move up from there. No
bro.
one's
We could
coming
do a
over
10.
here unless Richard pumps the chain. Happy birthday.
I agree with Famous here. Every single one of us should be making money on other chains. Every single one of us.
Facts.
And then bringing the profits back over here. It says Hex is referring to P-Hex. He doesn't call E-Hex
Yeah, but
Hex. He
don't.
calls it E-Hex.
No, but at the same time, I do like yesterday when me
Yeah,
and
but don't you
Famous
guys?
had that argument. I do get where Famous is coming from, right? Because the only hex that did do a 10,000 hex is E hex, but also the way, like I said, the way I see it, P hex is E hex last cycle. So when he's referring to what something done last cycle, this cycle he's basically still referring to P hex, but he's saying hex, and all them tweets as well where he literally, you know, he will directly say E hex. He won't say p hex. He would say hex, and then maybe sometimes he'll put in brackets on
Well,
pulse chain.
I think, right, like it's in Richard's best interest, and it does make sense for him to favor the pulse chain one, right? Like it does, even if both are still his children, just like, well, I'm not gonna use that. I don't have children, and it's stupid for saying that. I'm sorry. I'll rephrase that. You have two same cars, right? It's just one color you like it better than the other. You know what I mean? But it's still the same car, right? So I think Richard just, when referring to hex and e-hex, you'll say hex on pulse chain is the real hex, right? Because it's hex on pulse chain, which is more important than hex on Ethereum because he doesn't. It's not Ethereum's not his, right? So maybe when PHEX is not in the question, he does refer to EHEX as hex because it is hex, right? Actually, like EHEX, you know that PHEX will be it is what it is, except there's always this opportunity of when there's this crazy differential, right? Like a 10-to-1 ratio. I think it's a bit exaggerating when you're looking at the T-share rate. Now, if the T-share rate was different, KR, right? I think the conversation would be much, much different. I think I would look at it way different. If it was like 70,000 hex per T-share and E-hex was still 47, 48, getting to 50, I'd be like, no, 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 no. The ratio can't be 1-to-1. There can't be maybe even 2-to-1. I'd be like, no, no, it has to be like a 4-to-1, 5-to-1 ratio because people value hex on Pulse Chain so much more because look at the T-share rate. But until then, I look at it like, well, how can it go to 10-to-1? I don't see it going 10-to-1. That's why I saw the opportunity when there was a 6-to-1. I'm like, now that we passed the 5, 6-to-7 is not that big of a difference. 7-to-8, same shit. So 5-to-6 is bigger than 6-to-7. So I thought it was it showed support, and I took a chance, and I think it was good. But right now, I'm definitely going
Yeah,
back into PX. Why not, bro? Why? Because it's you have to capitalize off this game. It's like a LP master myself. Like I love it because I'll just take back the coins, station up, and I'm gonna go stake, and I'm gonna go stake on the LP, which is EX and PX. It is what it is. Normal staking, I could
it's
just
a trade.
LP
It's a
that shit.
trade. If it didn't matter to
Yeah.
Richard to differentiate the two, he wouldn't have said anything. It matters because if we want to see an all-time high in hex, we're not going to divide the economic energy.
This is
Seems
sad
stupid.
bit about the community, right? Is the fact that we do divide the economic energy. Because there's a lot of hex guys that know how to shill it, right? And they shill it hard every day. But
Just trying to trade it. Yeah, grift
the
trade.
thing that doesn't make sense to me, you got a 1-to-1 copy of whatever hex you held
Yep,
on Pulse Chain of Hex on day 3 when Pulse Chain launched.
and
I
six.
remember day 3, it was at a literally 10%, 20% discount. You swap your hex, you get 10%.
Yeah, but you have to think also, KR, people had like 20,000. Like, even to say they had 100,000 hex, like that's 30 grand at some point for most of the community that came in at some time. Like, that's why I say, like, my hex stake, I just bought them
But here,
back.
bro,
Like,
but
fuck them,
hear
I'll
me out,
never, if
bro.
I unstake them, I'll
Hear me
unstake
out,
them.
though.
You know what I mean?
No,
They're
I
so
hear that
little.
completely. But bro, even like for example, you staked on Ethereum, right? You got a 1-to-1 copy
Yeah.
of that stake on Pulse Chain.
But it's not really worth anything, to be honest with you. If you think, like, for people that
But
got
it's
in
worth
20
more.
cents, 15
Is it not
cents,
worth currently more
yeah, yeah, well, of course it's worth more.
than
Yeah,
E hex
of course,
stake?
it's
Is
worth more.
your P hex stake not currently worth more than your E hex stake? And then
Sure.
it's
No, 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 of
and it's
course not.
also a thing of right, bro. I didn't know nobody when I didn't sacrifice for Pulse Chain. I got into Hex, right? Just before maybe I don't know around the top. right? I still got my airdrop. I DCA'd. I got my airdrop of PHEX, but I listened to Richard Hart's streams, right? That's all I done. I didn't listen to any influencers. I had no clue who any Tom, Dick, and Harry was in the community. I was not even on X, bro. My X account is literally 2 years old. I was never on Telegram. And all I done was I listened to Richard Hart and him say, focus on Hex on Pulsechain, right? It's on Pulsechain, Hex. So that's the only reason why I swapped all my E hex into P hex on day 3, right? Because Richard Hart said it himself. So to
You
me,
got
it's like
shook out.
it's people. But I mean, bro, the ratio has never been even close since that day. You know what I'm saying? So did
Shook
I
it.
get shaken up? Did I not? Just did I
No, good
Died
trade.
I
win?
shook it.
think
Good trade.
a lot of those original folks from 2021, if you had stakes already, I think a lot of people felt like they got pitched that they were going to get a doubling. And I don't know who said that or who they heard it from. I'm not saying that I necessarily heard it that way, but I think a lot of folks felt like after Pulse Chain was launched, they expected to have parity of value. And I think that was probably missed
I mean, they
expectations.
kind of did.
Well, they got it
Yeah,
It
it
close.
could
was.
have
It
been.
was that.
It
It
was
was. Wait,
close.
yes,
Yeah.
thank you. It was, bro. It
It
was like
was.
10%
Yeah,
difference. It was
Yeah.
at
yeah,
9
For a
yeah,
days
while,
ago when
too.
it launched. It was
yeah.
literally
There was an opportunity.
there was so much opportunity to swap it on day 1, day 2, not day. Sorry, I meant when the bridge went active between E hex and P hex. You could have swapped it. There was
Yeah.
so many opportunities for
Richie
people
gave
to
people
swap it,
time. And then he finally
and
was like, all right, you retard.
people didn't take that opportunity, which is just confusing. And even if you didn't take that opportunity, fair enough. You still got a copy of something which is way more valuable and has way more liquidity than the other so to me it just
Yeah, yeah,
mind
yeah.
boggles
Agreed.
me
I agree with
how
that.
people
Yep.
don't, like, sometimes in life all it is, even maths, is common sense. Guys will be there thinking it's everything in life is common sense. So to me it just
Yeah.
mind boggles me why common sense goes out of the window and all of a sudden, it's these crazy conspiracies that come to life. And I mean, I get it, right? Everyone needs something to hold on to their bags, right? Like, we all need a narrative to hold on to our bags. But at the same time, I don't get it when common sense goes out the window.
Well,
Yeah, a lot.
it's gambler's fallacy too. Everybody feels
Exactly.
those losses, right? Those hurt way worse than you don't remember how much you won.
Yeah, like in reality, if you was buying hex at 40 cents, you're never getting that money back, right? But you hold on just in case, right? Just to even break even. But like you should just you if you was holding it and you got the free copy, like why are you holding on? Just cut your losses and put it into the thing that's actually going to pump.
Yeah, everybody's going, EHEX is going to outperform, blah, blah, blah. You're going to miss out. It's going to outperform PHEX the whole time. They're
Yeah.
just trying to trade.
So
Look at every time we pumped and PX pumped, that ratio got
well, look at it
nuked.
like this as well, right? The argument, one of the arguments is, well, low liquidity and it's the easiest to buy for
Yeah,
outsiders because it's on Ethereum. But the
yeah,
outsiders ain't buying Hex.
No.
and
So so who's going to put the money in? Richard? No chance.
Yeah.
yeah,
When he
yeah.
starts
The
buying
SAC funds are
PHEX, it
not going to buy
changes. It's
EHEX.
this the whole narrative dies, bro. That's what people don't understand.
You know what's crazy, bro? There's only one tweet where Richard talks about parity with any PRC, and that one coin, which I still hold and I think it will do well, is PWBTC. Richard did make a tweet, right? He said, I'd expect the bridge WBTC from Ethereum to reach parity with Bitcoin before the free WBTC, man, right?
Yeah, one thing I would say here for anyone that's listening that might be newer to the chain and cares is that at this point, I don't think I would personally endorse trading out of an existing position because a trade is a sale, right? So if I've got EHEX here, I'm not sure I'm moving that until I see some change of direction. I
No, sure.
I
Hold
would
it.
I would add two positions here, but I don't know if I'd be trying to move away from EHEX if I've already got some here because
Yeah,
I
just wait to see what the SAC funds buy. Then you can move.
PRC 20
So
versus
Richard's
PRC 20.
plan, let me explain to y'all Richard's plan. He saw multiple Bitcoin forks. He saw Ethereum forks that created coins like Bitcoin Cash and ETH Classic, right? He was doing the same thing. At the end of the day, they hold a little value, yes, but that can't touch the real coin. So what was the point of coding in any other thing when he already had an easy route to do this?
That's the question I'm asking.
Well, I think
There
Richard
is no
personally
reason.
thought that maybe people would swap there. I don't even know. Like, we'd have to look into it to see who is the liquidity provider for EHEX on Pulsechain, I'm pretty sure a majority of it is Richard, right? Because he does tweet about it as well, and he does say like, bridge over your Ethereum, your EHEX, blah blah blah. Maybe he thought that people would rotate their EHEX into PHEX, which you did see a lot of, right? When he put out that tweet, he said you see a lot of it. I don't know. I don't know. It's like, you can ask the same question. What did you think that having all these vulnerabilities, did you not know with your team that all of these tokens that you guys have just copied, the majority of them have vulnerabilities, mint functions, and, you are you was, Maker, for example, who provided liquidity for it. It was Richard, right? Who pulled the liquidity? It was Richard. Who provided liquidity for, pdai? It was Richard.
Like, what is Richie gonna pump, right? That's the big question. And so you have Ink, you have Hex, you have EHEX, you have Pulse and Pulsex. Those are the tokens. Like, oh, which ones do? Now you got Most and Pump and Trump, and maybe all the other ones. You just don't know which ones they're gonna get injected into. And I think that's the game where everyone's gonna try to get what Richie's pumping, but it's all gonna go up. So
But this is the thing,
Yeah,
exactly that. Number one, it's all gonna go up. Number two, this is why it's always good to be multi-diverse, right? It's always good to have capital in every token, so you're not there trying to, figure out what's Richie's next move. Because at the same time, there was a lot of that got wrecked hard. When Richie injected that capital into Pulsex, and then we dumped hard. That last time, a lot of people started buying after he injected, thinking he was gonna inject more.
I,
And then okay, that was the kind of local top. So it's always good to just be diversified in every token. If you believe in a token more, have a bit more in that token. Yeah, that's the only thing I'd say.
I've
Then you're not
heard.
I'll
missing
say
out on
this.
nothing.
Oh, go ahead, Johnny. Go ahead.
Hey, you want to pump the least likely coin he pumps is Hex. Not because he doesn't want the price to go high,
what?
but because the volume of Hex out there, the market cap of Hex is higher than his other tokens.
But
What?
So to do what
market
he
cap
wants to do
don't
in
mean
10,000
shit,
X,
brother. Market cap doesn't mean nothing.
Technically, the coin he's
when you're
least
trying,
likely is Ink, but in my opinion, it's the most likely. But that's just because I'm retarded.
uh,
I've heard
I think it's a good
execute.
shot.
I've heard execute speculate on a theory, and I'm becoming more of a believer. If he
Eh,
wants to reward the maximum number of people who have been holding multiple coins in the ecosystem over a long period of time, what he would do is he'd rotate the pump between the core assets at different times. So he'd make things pop at different times and get people chasing that pump between different core assets, right?
he already did that, bro. He did that with
So,
Hex and
so
Ink.
Yeah.
there's another thing, right? Which is in my opinion, I know many people are gonna frown on me saying this. I think the most important token to pump, right, is
Ink.
PLS with new capital. Now, let me explain why.
Ink.
Right, I just said PLS. PLS. Why
But you
do I
meant
think? And
Ink.
I don't even hold a lot of PLS. I don't hold the gas token. I hold the other cores.
But you meant
Right.
to say Ink.
I didn't. Why the reason why I say PLS is because he has enough PLS in many wallets to be able to do, whatever he wants. When the price of PLS is going up, number one, every asset on Pulse Chain is going up. Number two, he has enough PLS in other wallets where he could rotate PLS strategically into other tokens to pump them harder, right? Like in reality, he doesn't even need, like if he wants PulseX or Ink or Hex or any of the other cores to go up, all he needs to do in reality is rotate PLS into that token.
Didn't he tell you if you pump Hex, you're pumping Pulse?
That's correct.
So if you take
But
ETH and you go straight into Hex, you're pumping Pulse, but
Yes,
you're
you
pumping
are.
Hex, and you're FOMOing everyone that doesn't have Hex into Hex, which
And
then
then he
makes
the reason
rotates that
why,
Hex in
everything
a
else.
side wallet into PulseX,
Well, it
right?
doesn't even have
Or
to rotate
into
that.
Ink.
You
I
can
mean, bro,
reapply
we
capital
see Richie's wallet
to
was the
Ink.
one dumping Ink into PulseX.
That was one time, and then he cut
No,
inflation.
brother, we're talking about another time when Ink went to $10. After that $10, who do you think was selling PulseX Ink into PulseX? I got HB. Where's HB? Let him come up. He can speak on it. That one time was just like a gas check or to check the liquidity, what
Mm.
happens, and then he went into PulseX anyway. I know what you're talking about. You're talking about that one time he done a transaction where he sold Ink into PulseX, and
Hmm.
then the money come into PulseX, right? That time.
Yeah, and then he cut inflation.
Yeah.
if you want to
He cut
market make
inflation way
your
later
your
after that.
core tokens, you pump PulseX or you pump Inc. That way, the side coins, we'll say pdai, for example, get as little amount as possible injected into it.
Yes, sir.
And the way you do that is Pulsex or Ink. And that's what Almighty's telling y'all.
Ink,
The
bro. I
last,
don't.
I'm telling you, you do not want him to put money in Pulse.
No,
You don't really want
that's an
Hex either.
autistic play, bro.
Why don't you
That's
want him to put money in Hex? You clearly don't own a bag, right?
bro. Listen, if
Oh,
he's
that's my
gonna
biggest
pump
bag.
Pulse, he's just gonna pump
That's my
Hex. If
biggest
he's
bag,
gonna
dude.
pump
He
Pulsex,
said
he's gonna pump Ink.
pulse.
GG's.
No, it says Hex
Yeah,
Hey
as
man,
well.
if he puts
nothing wrong with a little bit of artistic moves once
yeah,
in a
yeah.
while, bro.
If he puts stable coins into any of these things, stable coins go into
Yeah, it
pulse.
routes via Pulse. Yeah, for
Exactly.
sure.
But
Yeah,
that's
for
my
sure.
thing is
Right,
he's going.
right.
You guys are going to buy what he buys, right? If he buys Pulse, are you
Right.
guys gonna go buy Pulse? No, you got a bunch of Pulse. You're not gonna go sell your Hex into Pulse because he's buying Pulse. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But if he's
It's
buying
gonna
Hex,
net
guess what
pump
the
the other
you're
things with
doing?
lower
You're selling your
liquidity
Pulsex and you're
even
selling your
more.
Ink and you're
Yeah.
selling everything. You're
Okay,
selling your Pulse.
let's just say this, right? The ratios of, let's just say, Hex and Pulse,
Autism,
right?
man.
And Hex is at, let's just say hypothetically speaking, 600 to 1 ratio, right? And Richard brings in capital, starts buying Pulse, right? For that ratio to go back up. Everyone will FOMO from Hex into Pulse, bro, whether you like it or not.
Bro, how do you get the ratio to 600? You buy Hex.
I'm saying yes, but the
After we
ratio
top out,
not
yes, you'll see
literally
people
just.
rotate.
But no, yes, yeah, but he doesn't have to be the only buyer to make the ratio go up, right? We just see the ratio do a three,
I
four,
mean,
3x.
so
Literally, when
let me
that
let me
that guy dumped, we see the ratio do
So
a
you
3x
think you
let me
think Hex
without him
legs up
let
to
me
injecting.
speak.
600
Hold on.
per and then he pumps Pulse?
There's a point here, KR. You're saying, if Richard's buying Pulse and not Hex, people are going to rotate Hex to Pulse. Well, when Richard's buying Pulse instead of Hex net goes up in gain more than
Yes,
Pulse.
but this community
The
is
smart ones
retarded,
won't
bro.
do that.
Yes, but this
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
community is
yeah, yeah.
retarded, and you see every time Richard cut inflation on ink, everyone started FOMOing ink. Richard cut inflation on EHEX, everyone FOMOed that ink into EHEX. Richard cut inflation on PHEX, what did everyone do? Rotate their EHEX into PHEX, bro.
So, Giga, what you going with in our debate from earlier? Which coin do you pump if you're RH?
Well, it's a hard question, bro. It depends on where you're at in the cycle. If you're saying like right off the rip, like just getting started, bro, pause.
See, I'm the opposite. I don't want to give those pdai peggers another penny. So I minimize that, and that's the last one I pump.
Yeah, but like if he rips up ink, it's gonna lift the whole chain up much higher to a much higher valuation with lower liquidity. And if he were to inject just strictly into Pulse, your like TVL versus your actual liquidity ratio is gonna be a lot better. Because like if he just injects a load of money into ink, since it's like the furthest kind of end point, you're going to have higher valuations than you can sustain just across the board. Because now Pulse guys are in profit, Pulse X guys will be in big profit, and then the Ink guys will be massively in profit. Whereas if you just inject Pulse, you kind of lift everything up the same amount without introducing like that extra amount of kind of sell pressure on all these external things.
Thank you, Gigo.
To be honest though, bro, what I just thought about, because a lot of people here trust Richard's word and his ideas of the past, and would argue that he was relatively correct on his calls. And I go, we see a huge reserve of ETH that's mostly untouched. Do you guys realize that he would destroy his credibility forever if he weren't to sell that in time? If he were to just hodl that bag, I feel like it would almost destroy his reputation with the few people that agree with him now. So let that be your indicator if you're a believer of Richard. Like, don't sell until that guy's don't sell your Bitcoin or your ETH until that guy's maybe fully unloading his ETH position, at least his public one.
What if yesterday when he, sent them that ETH into different wallets and tornadoed it, what if that was him selling? That's the big question.
Getting ready to sell, more likely.
It's possible. It's a possible de-risk.
And then that's why the chain is dumping, because everyone's like, okay, that's a signal, and everyone is selling. Not everyone, but a few in Wales, I guess.